Amanda, also, I don't know if Dr. Duffy was joining us. So look, can you look for her in the
She's in.
box? Oh,
Yep, I just let her in.
I see you. Thank you.
Never talked to me.
All right, we're live.
She's still sore because we beat her in the trivia contest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
Great
read
job,
it.
Ben, Claudia.
I gotta
Great
read
We are
job.
live
I
and
don't
ready to
even
go.
remember where we left this off.
I'll make a mention of that. Ah, I
think
can
she
see her
finished-
now. Yeah.
What place did
Yeah,
she
I
come
remember
in?
the union.
I don't know. We'll have to ask her.
But it wasn't tied for third.
I can hear you. I can
We
hear
are
you,
live on
Doug.
YouTube.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. I will call the meeting to order, but first we are going to ask what place Dr. Duffy's team finished in the SUNY Adirondack Trivia Night the other day.
I don't know. I was so excited for you that I didn't even pay attention to my placing.
Good political answer.
Well, since we have you, Dr. Duffy, would you like to give any update from SUNY Adirondack?
I actually would. Good morning, everyone. I am delivering good news, and Ryan, I'm looking right at you in this little box, but we finally received yesterday our payment from Empire State Development for the culinary project. So if I understand correctly, today we'll be cutting a check back to Warren County to reimburse you for helping us to get that project off the ground. So thank you so much. I know it was a long time coming and a lot of people were involved, but it's still a great project and the Culinary Center is doing great, but I just wanted to share that with you. And
Thank
also,
you for the news. We'll thank our friends at ESD
Yeah.
and we'll let the treasurer's office know. It was a great partnership and we were happy to do it. Thank you.
thank you, Ryan. Also in the good news column, we've opened our enrollment for summer and it's doing very well. We're ahead of where we were last year for summer enrollment. So that's really great. So getting some momentum and eagerly planning for fall as we all are being optimistic. The vaccination rollout has been incredibly helpful. And I know many of our faculty and staff have already taken advantage of it as well as students. And finally, as I've shared with you, I think earlier, we're in the process of wrapping up our strategic planning process to kind of set our sights on the next couple years for the Adirondack of the future. And our high level goals will be around, of course, enrollment, both recruiting new students as well as retaining the students we have. Program innovation, and what I mean by that is really taking what we learned during COVID, being able to provide more flexible offerings for our students and applying those initiatives going forward. Creating even deeper partnerships. We've talked a lot with the county in terms of how we can continue to partner on helping our students be employed after they finish their education here or for transfer. And so that will be our continued focus. And then looking internally, how do we continue to support our own employees? As well as continue to look at ways of streamlining our administrative work to continue to develop a fiscally sustainable operation going forward. So we expect to wrap up the strategic plan by the end of May with the Board of Trustees and be happy to share it with you when it's completed. And other than that, that's all I had today. And again, thank you, Team Warren County, for joining us at the Howl. It was a lot of fun, and we'll see you next year.
That sounds great. It was a lot of fun. We had Chairwoman Sieber, Supervisor Hogan, Supervisor Beatty, Supervisor Driscoll. They really had a great time that night. Supervisor McGowan, did you have a comment?
Yes, thank you. This is for Dr. Duffy. Thank you. Dr. Duffy, is there anything's in the works for bumping up our trades with the college? I mean, are there any students out there that, are looking? I know you're more of an academic, but a vocational. Is that something that we can add to help boost SUNY Adirondack or?
That's a very good question, Supervisor McGowan. We do have a partnership with the Plumbers Union 773, but maybe Dr. Duffy can elaborate on that.
Yep. So thank you. It's a great question. I know we've had this conversation before. We do have a partnership with the 773 and in creating our Journey Worker Journey Worker Management Program. And what it is it's an opportunity for those who've completed an apprenticeship or Journey Worker program here or anywhere in the United States, actually, to complete an extra 30 credits to earn an associate degree and with the idea that many people in the trades do end up owning their own business in some way, in some form. So this would allow folks to skill up to be able to do that work. We do have other programs that, although they're not in the pure trades like welding, we don't have those programs. I can tell you, Supervisor McGowan, that those are programs that are pretty expensive to stand up. And so, you know, we've toyed with that, but we just don't have the infrastructure, and it would be a major cost. Hudson Valley does have an extensive amount of programs, but it doesn't mean they're off the table if there is, you know, high demand and we can figure out the equipment that's involved, the costing of it. You know, we might be open to that. But we are very focused on our mechatronics program, which is really helping to prepare technicians to support the advanced manufacturing industry. That program was created out of a partnership with many local manufacturers to help us develop the curriculum. And in fact, right now, our faculty are looking at new ways to help make that program more flexible, because trying to accommodate different shift workers to be able to help them skill up is a bit of a challenge in kind of a normal academic calendar. And again, this is another good lesson out of COVID. Our faculty gained some new skills in being able to deliver their instruction in different ways. And we're actually looking to potentially use some of our stimulus funding to help develop a different way of delivering that program so that we can help Finch and Irving and all of our local manufacturers to scale up their technicians. So that's another way that we're trying to address specifically more of our workforce ready types of programs.
Thank you, you know, very much. Like I said, there's so many gifted people out there that, you know, could work with their hands, and I know the workforce is depleting, and all we can do. And I thank you, Dr. Duffy, for looking into that and staying on top of it. So
Absolutely. And I would just add too, I mean, our local BOCES does a lot of trades education. And I think, you know, there might be opportunities there to continue to promote within the school districts through the work that BOCES does. So, you know, we can certainly have that conversation with BOCES as well.
well, you know, a lot of things, you're right, you know, like saying machinists, you know, a lot of the machines at CNNs, but if we can hook up with, you know, say, you know, for instance, a big machinist business, local business there, and then be able to offer, you know, more of the classes, you know, for the, you know, they're all computerized now, and the technology, and you know, you are on top of it all, and I really do appreciate it. But just it's always in the back of my mind, because I just being out in the trades now, and everybody is just flat out, and there's nobody there that you know, they all think they know something until they get there, and it's like, hello, you know, it's a different world. So, but thank you again.
Thank you, Supervisor McGowan. Anything else, Dr. Duffy?
Well, that's it. Thank you. And if you have any questions, you know where I am.
We know how to reach you. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I did skip over motion to approve the minutes. Could I have that, please, from our last meeting? Thank you, Supervisor McDevitt, but you're not on my committee.
I'll make the,
Thank you, Supervisor Driscoll, and a second by Supervisor Conover. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Okay, thank you. That carries. And before we move on in our agenda, I wanted to make two quick announcements, especially in light of our recent passing of a resolution regarding diversity inclusion. I wanted to announce that yesterday was International Transgender Day of Visibility, a day to recognize transgender and non-binary people in our county, and to acknowledge and condemn the discrimination and violence that transgender people are experiencing. Also, tomorrow is Autism Awareness Day, a day to promote autism awareness and ensure that all people affected by autism are supported so that they can achieve their full potential. And I really want to embrace those two things and ask you guys to all take that into mind and be aware of those two. Additionally, we'll go right into our agenda. We have resolution tracking report, and I think that's Amanda.
Yep, the resolution tracking report is in the packet for you to review at your leisure. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Okay, next is our county attorney. Before we go into any kind of executive session for litigation that I have down on my notes, Morgan v. Warren County and Maxim v. Warren County, I just want to turn it over to the county attorney and see if she has any other litigation to add to that list or any other updates that she can provide in the public session.
Sure. So the only case that I was going to update you on is Empire State Normal versus Warren County. And I can do this in public session if that's okay with you guys. Okay.
That's fine with me. I don't see any objection.
Okay. So as you may recall, plaintiffs in this action sought a declaratory judgment determining their rights and privileges under Public Health Law, Section 3369. They also asked that there be a finding that defendants' prevention of plaintiffs' access and use of medical marijuana is unconstitutional. And that they asked the court to hold that plaintiffs are entitled to use medical marijuana while serving out their respective terms of probation. William Foster from Barclay Damon was assigned by insurance and they moved to dismiss. Warren County argued in their papers that no allegations could be interpreted as to a cause of action against Warren County probation. They argue that the unnamed patient claims are barred by the applicable statute of limitations and that Normal lacked standing to bring any claims on behalf of a named or unnamed patient. On March 26, 2021, the court dismissed all the claims as against Warren County probation. The court found that the claims in the complaint were subject to the 4-month statute of limitations since they are challenging an agency determination. The court found that it was not sufficiently clear from the record whether the claims were timely commenced. Therefore, the court dismissed the claims on timeliness grounds. Additionally, no action or omissions were alleged on the part of Warren County probation. Therefore, all claims against Warren County probation were dismissed. Insurance is going to keep the file open for 35 days just to capture any appeals of this. That was all I had.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kassane. Anything else? That's it?
That's it for litigation. I don't know if you want me to do my other agenda item.
I think we'll hold on that one.
Okay.
Thank you. County Administrator Moore, do you have any other items on the list to go into executive session?
No, none other than the ones you've already indicated.
Okay, in that case, then could I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation in Morgan v. Warren and Maxim v. Warren? Made by Supervisor McGowan, second by somebody on my committee, Supervisor Driscoll. Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. We will go into executive session and bring in our outside counsel and drop out anybody from the public. And I would ask that staff leave, please. And department heads. Sorry, guys.
Chairwoman, I would just ask that Robert stay since he will be acting county attorney next month.
Okay,
And
sure.
Pam, because she's a defendant.
Okay, yep. That's fine.
We gotta keep David Cost, Amanda.
Supervisor?
Keep David Cost.
I'm thinking who I want to fill in.
Hello?
Wake up, Ron.
He looks like he might be somewhere nice.
He's down south there.
I am.
Ah,
Tried to get into Bolivia, but they wouldn't let him in. Over. South Carolina. He's sleeping. Yeah, I guess he's relaxed.
That Joanne is gonna have, she has a call.
I read that email.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
Either am I. If it makes sense, we should do it.
Even if it costs a little bit more.
Yeah, we should do it. I mean.
Thank you.
our quick-
I thought a good suggestion from Sam, but.
He's not ready.
Supervisor Beatty, can you hear me? They may have had me muted.
He's in a-
Thank you. And it's been rolling on YouTube the whole time, so we can just get started?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Let me just make sure I've got my committee still. Driscoll, Garrity, Conover, maybe I did lose Conover. I don't see him.
No,
Oh, there
I'm
he is.
here.
Sorry. Yep, okay.
You only hope. Later.
Ah,
We were all rooting for that.
Supervisor Conover, you always have great things to add to our meeting, so I'm so glad you're here. We're going
I
to
know,
Zoom. It
I
came
know.
out of executive session. And the next item is a county attorney personnel update. I don't see anyone from our county attorney's office. I will say that
That's Mary.
county,
That's Mary.
oh, there's our county attorney. I will hand it right over to her, County Attorney Kassane. I'll give you a moment. We are up to, we came out of executive session and we're up to county attorney personnel update.
Sure. So I just wanted to let the board know that the legal assistant position will be vacant on Monday in my office. Her last day is tomorrow. And then my last day, as most of you know, is April 30th. And that was my update.
Madam
Okay,
Chair,
just a moment. Yes, thank you, County Attorney Kassane, for your good work and your service to the county, and we wish you all the best in your new endeavors. And I think we'll take a moment to think about what we're doing with the legal assistant position. Maybe have you talked to Trish Nenninger yet about the legal description there? Or anything really? Yes.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I figured you guys would want to let the new county attorney fill it.
Okay, fair enough. Supervisor Beatty.
have we started the process of filling the county attorney's position? In other words, well, I mean,
Well, that's a little abrupt, but yes,
Well, I think
we
it-
have not started thinking about that yet. Actually, this is our first meeting since we have received Ms. Kassane's resignation letter. So that was something, wasn't necessarily on the agenda for today, but one of the things that we can certainly talk about. I think I was here on the board the last time we went through this process, and it takes a little bit of time.
right. so
and we
the sooner
haven't-
We get started. the better.
We should get started. One of the things that I was thinking about positing or putting out for consideration is that we ask for offers for legal firms to help us in the interim while we're going through the process. It's not something we have to consider right this minute, but allowing some assistance to Mr. Terwilliger and Mr. Dickey during this transition process, because I'm not sure it's going to be really very quick to get someone to replace Ms. Kassane. Supervisor McGowan.
Chairwoman, I think that's really an excellent idea.
Thanks. All right, anything further on that personnel update? Yes,
Just a thought I had, one of the things that we typically will try to do, we're trying to get better at it, is we revise job descriptions. So maybe, from my perspective at least, maybe Mary and I can sit down, talk about the job description, whether Mary thinks that there's anything that needs to be updated, and I'll do the same, and we'll get that process rolling.
that's great. Thank you. I know Trish Nenninger has asked that everyone, as vacancies happen, that we take that opportunity to look at the job description and try to update it as necessary.
Okay.
So that would be great. Thank you to both of you. All right.
Yeah,
on-
I just, Madam Chairwoman, on that point, I would say that the first deputy assumes the responsibilities. That's the job of a first deputy. And I would also say that we should be very clear on what the state law is relative to the authorities of that public officer known as the county attorney. And that the any delegation of that, I think I'm going to have questions about. I'm not saying they don't have answers, but I'm going to have questions about.
Oh,
So
yes.
I would
that's a
say,
good
I
point.
would say that I would be interested in hearing from the first deputy as to whether they feel they can assume the responsibilities, and if so, for what period of time.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I said, you always have good contributions. Supervisor Conover, that's a good point. I think that with respect to the job description, I believe there is something in county law that talks about the role of the county attorney. So maybe we can't do a whole lot with that, but that's okay. And my thought about outside counsel firms is like with the outside counsel that we have for labor related issues. Maybe we just get someone who can help on a very limited basis with general municipal law things, but we should certainly talk with our first deputy. And on that, I know that Mary has already designated Mr. Terwilliger as her deputy. So there won't be any break in coverage for the county as far as the county attorney's position itself. Do you want to speak to that at all, Mary?
No, you hit it right on the head.
Great. So we're good. Thank you for that, Supervisor Conover.
Right,
Okay,
and I would
moving-
say, also, Madam Chairwoman, that any conversations regarding any legal matters should be include the first deputy. I think to not include the first deputy on all communications and in all conversations, I would assume that would happen as a matter of course, but I just would put that out there that I would expect the first deputy to be included in all meetings, conversations dealing with any legal matters. Thank you.
Okay, let me just defer that over to the county attorney for a comment.
I don't think I have one.
Okay. Well, I hear what you're saying, Supervisor Conover, and I will do my best to try to make sure Attorney Terwilliger is looped in on things going forward to the extent that he isn't already, which he may be.
Right.
Okay, moving.
No, I would say that that is required, quite frankly, because that office and whoever's acting as the county attorney is our attorney. So I wouldn't want anyone to presume that they hold those authorities when they don't. That's my only point.
Thank you. I
You're
will
welcome.
just say, Ms. Cassane is still here.
Right.
Yeah. On to our Human Resources Director. Thank you. No, she's here. Thank you so much, Jackie. Please go ahead with
Morning.
your agenda.
Okay. Item A is just a review of the report on tracking of vacancies filled. That was included in your packet. Also included for your review is the report on terminations, separations, exit interviews. So I'm happy to answer any questions on either of those.
Okay, go ahead.
Moving on, if there are no questions. C is a request to amend the table of organization to update a title in the planning department. We have found during this year, there are a couple unusual titles in the salary schedule that's attached to the budget. In this instance, it's associate planner 9 hours. That position isn't limited to 9 hours, and it's not, that person's not regularly working just 9 hours. It's a per diem position where they work sometimes more, sometimes less. So we just want to update that verbiage to reflect what's actually happening. So I do have a resolution request in for that one that I
Okay.
believe needs action by the committee.
Could I have a motion for that, please? Supervisor Driscoll? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Supervisor
Sure.
McGowan? All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
sorry, hold on. I'm sorry. Is there any discussion? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that carries, Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you. And my last item is just a discussion item. I wanted to make the committee aware that as part of the American Rescue Plan Act that was passed earlier this month, or no, I guess last month now, because it's a new month, there was language in it providing for a voluntary expansion of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which was the expansion on family medical leave that we had last year. It was not voluntary last year. It was voluntary beginning January 1st, and the county did not extend that benefit time because we have our own paid leave for those on a quarantine. Sorry, there's a lot of acronyms. I don't want to misspeak. So I just wanted to bring it to committee to make everyone aware that we know about the change in the law. However, I've spoken with county administrator and my committee chair. We are all in agreement that between our paid quarantine time, the New York State vaccination time off, and the newly adopted remote work policies, we have provided all the necessary benefits that Warren County employees need through this pandemic to continue working, get paid when they need to, when they can't work. I just don't know that we need to opt in to this additional federal coverage and all of the hoop jumping that comes along with that.
Okay, thank you for that update. And as you mentioned, I am in agreement with that. I think we have our employees covered and I'm. All right, anything else?
That's all I
do,
have.
Madam Chairwoman.
Supervisor Conover.
Yes, thank you. I have a question for our county attorney. It's been brought up in conversations that relative to an account we have relative to the retention of outside counsel. And I just wanted to ask you, I'm familiar with the account that exists relative to labor matters through Bartlett Pontiff. Do you have specific any additional authorizations beyond that the board has given relative to retaining outside counsel? I guess what I'm asking, the broader question is, what exactly is that account and what protocols or authorities associated with that have we given you, your office?
So I'm not super clear on the question, but the contract we have with Bartlett Pontiff covers all labor relations. And it also covers any other legal issue that our office may want to contract out. We've only used them for labor relations matters in my office. That's not to say that we can't use them for other things. If the labor relations matter is done through my office, our budget pays for it. But I believe that Larry will bill whatever department that he's working for. If that's the question. I don't know if it is.
Yeah, that's the question, because now my concern would be that the utilization of a tool which has historically gone through our county attorney's office. I'm concerned about the utilization of that tool by other departments and or other individuals. And I'm concerned about the actual procedures associated with the utilization of that of that tool, if you allow me to say that. So I guess what I'm saying here is that, you know, my understanding is utilization of that tool, if it's used, is done with the concurrence and through the county attorney's office, and that the county attorney will report same back to the board as required, as appropriate. It is my understanding of that correct? If it is not correct, then I just would like to know exactly what other authorities are associated with that account, by whom, and how are they budgeted? That's my question. You don't have to answer it today, but Madam Chairwoman, that would be my general question. And in other words, if it's being channeled through the county attorney's office, they're our attorney. They'll report back what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, etc. But beyond that, I've not known that tool to be used by any other individual or department, and I have concerns relative to that application by other than through the county attorney's office. I'm not saying that's taken place, but I'm saying I would be concerned about that if it were to take place.
I certainly don't want to cut you off. Are you finished, Supervisor Conover?
I'm finished. Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to wrap up with Jackie, and then I will ask the county administrator to address what you just asked. There's
Sure.
nothing else for you, right, Jackie?
Correct, I'm all done.
Thank you. You can be done. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
County Administrator Moore, could you address Supervisor Conover's question at all on
Sure.
what is stated in the agreement that we have with Bartlett Pontiff?
Sure. Yeah. What he's asking, I believe, is what is the authorization to, what is Bartlett Pontiff's contract and how is it authorized? I believe there was a resolution from the board in 2018 authorizing the contract with Bartlett Pontiff. They have a retainer that's for the labor pieces of their work. And then for items that are outside the scope of their work, they have an hourly rate. Now that's authorized by the Board of Supervisors. We have the contract. I believe there's 3 one-year extensions on that contract. And those extensions will go to the chairman of the board, who will sign those extensions in conjunction with the new year under the authorization of the resolution. So we'll pull that resolution and those contracts, and we'll take a look. Is it, if there's a more specific element of your question?
Thank you. Let me check back with Supervisor Conover.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing that, because if what we're looking to do is to expand those authorizations, for example, to include the county attorney, the county administrator's office, then I suppose we could do that. But one would think that all of this would be channeled through the county attorney. But it would seem to me, if there are reasons why we need to channel that through other individuals or other departments, then we should modify the resolution appropriately. Although I could see that if we were to do that, that could be an issue as well. So my point is that on that, you understand my point.
I understand your point. The authorization is there from the Board of Supervisors to pay for services outside of the labor scope, but your point is how do you enact that? So we can check that out.
All right, thank you.
All righty. We're finished with there. I'm hoping that, yep. All right, Ms. Nenninger, you are up. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. We've had a resignation. Our civil service specialist accepted a wonderful new opportunity, so we'd like to seek permission to backfill the vacancy.
Great. And I just want to note that Trish did take her own advice and took time to look at the job description and update it and make sure it was what she wanted to do moving forward. So I appreciate your following your own advice and doing that. Could I have a motion to approve this request? Supervisor Driscoll and second by Supervisor McGowan. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. That carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trish. All right. Mr. Colvin, I know he's running around. Do you want to present something at the podium with respect to your agenda item on appropriating funds? It's been a while, right? Go ahead, please.
Request to transfer funds from the computer reserve fund for anticipated purchases.
Could I have a motion for that?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Supervisor Conover, and second by Supervisor McGowan. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for being here today. And I do want to say that the Chromebooks are really great. We've had some little bumpy road today, but it's really nice to be able to see everybody's faces in the boxes. I appreciate that. All right. I see Mr. Van Ness. You're up.
I think Beth is here with us as well.
I'm here.
So,
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. We just wanted to, we're not sure, we may have not filed the proper paperwork for the increasing the pay of our inspectors at our polling locations. It says in here that we're amending the table of organization. Our inspectors, just so you're aware of, are not actually employees of the counties. They are vendors. So when we pay them out of a miscellaneous account as a vendor. So I don't know that the verbiage of amending the table of organization is correct, but we are looking to increase their pay from $12.50 an hour to $15 an hour, and basically to do with retention and recruiting. As you all know, it's not a real easy job. It's a 16-hour-a-day job when they work the elections. We're finding it tough to retain and recruit inspectors. Beth, anything you'd like to add? I mean,
it's just not part of our table of organization. There are vendors and we pay them out of our miscellaneous fund 439.
Commissioner McLaughlin, do we need to change? Is there an error in the table of organization now?
They're not part of our table of organization.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's why we weren't sure, Chairwoman Bramer, that's why we weren't sure if the verbiage of amending the table of organization is the proper verbiage for the increase.
I see what you're saying. Okay. I think that seems proper to me. We're amending it to add them in. All right.
I would agree, Chairwoman, if
Go ahead, Supervisor Conover.
Is your thinking that we should amend the existing resolution or have a new resolution? What's your thinking?
Chairwoman Bramer, if we may, I am sorry, and I don't mean to interrupt, but
Go ahead.
No,
we really don't want to add them to our table of organization. And the reason we don't want to do that is because at that point in time, you're basically making these people become employees. We're talking about 200 plus vendors that we use. We want to leave them as a vendor, not in our table of organization, but just advise you that we want to increase their pay from $12.50 to $15 an hour. So we really don't want to make them employees. We want to keep them as vendors because we don't have to add benefits or put them on the books.
Okay, let me back up then. It sounds like we don't want to put them in the table of organization. Could someone please help me here? Yes, Amanda, thank you. Ms. Allen.
Yeah, so the agenda item that's on the agenda, it's speaking to the table of organization because that's the resolution request form that was used. If you look at item 7, it's increasing or decreasing the salary of a non-union position. It sounds like this isn't a position at all. It sounds like it's something we may contract for. So there's probably another resolution somewhere that authorizes this, and you would actually be amending that prior authorization to give the authority to pay the higher amount. So we can straighten that out through the resolution that comes to you on April 16th, if you just make your motion
Yes,
that way.
thank you. I'll take a motion simply to raise the rates of the inspection contract from the $12.50 to $15 an hour, and we'll figure out the exact wording for that as we go forward, if that's all right with both of you.
Yeah, that's great. That's fine.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Could I have a motion to that effect, please? Supervisor McGowan.
I'll second.
Supervisor Conover, thank you. Any further discussion? Everyone understands we're just raising the rate. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, commissioners. Anything else?
I think
Okay.
later on in your list, we've got some other things, but
But not today, right? All right, they're good. All right, next one, Supervisor Diamond. Supervisor Diamond, do you want to? What are we doing?
It's a referral.
Referral to adopt Warren County Sheriff Office policies. I see 2 of them here. They're in your packet. Item number 8. Could I have a motion to accept the policies and adopt them? Supervisor McGowan. Do I have a second? Or do we want to take more? Okay, Supervisor Driscoll.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't, is the sheriff on with us?
It does not appear to be.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
What's the change?
I have no idea, Supervisor Garrity.
Shouldn't we know that
Yes.
before we vote on it?
Yes.
Jack, do you know?
The only change that I know is these policies are, they kind of mirror the county's policy, but they're independent policies through the county that they've adopted on an annual basis. This was the discussion that took place in our Public Safety Committee meeting. So I don't know if there's any real change to the policies that were adopted the previous years, but I can't speak to that correctly.
Is it the FLMA policy was added or no?
It's reflective of the
Okay.
county's Family Leave Act.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Tammy, a comment.
Oh, okay. Ms. DiLorenzo, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So these couple of items, this goes back to actually 2019, where when we had a change in leadership over in the sheriff's department, it was noted by the treasurer's department that through payroll, that we have never adopted their policies for these. So that's why they're being presented today.
Okay, so technically for us as a board, this is brand new.
These are the first time you're seeing their policies. Like I said, dates back to 2019 when it was like I said, that it was requested that we have their policies and adopt that through the treasurer's department. The reason that came up is when we had employees in the sheriff's department that were leaving office. I believe the first person was the previous undersheriff. There was a payout of sick leave. at the time. And it was noted at that point that because they're a co-employer, we did not have their policies in, we had never adopted their policies or acknowledged their policies in Warren County. So that's why these policies, we requested that they be brought and adopted. And that request, like I said, came through the Treasurer's Department.
Thank you. Administrator Moore?
Yeah, Tammy's recollection is correct. It does date back to 2019. The Sheriff's Department tracks their time and their rollover of paid time off in a different manner than the rest of the county does. And the sheriff, the prior sheriff, maintained that he had the ability to do that because he's a joint employer under the civil service law. When we dealt with the particular payout that Tammy referenced with the treasurer's office, we passed a resolution at that time that stated that in conjunction with approving that payout, you would have the county sheriff come to the board for adoption because the county itself is a joint employer with the sheriff. And so you would have the county also adopt the sheriff's policies so that it's on paper. So I believe that's what Sheriff LaFar is presenting to us now. It's just we have to go back in our minds a year and a half to remember the context of why it's being asked.
Is Ms. Figueroa still on? And has she had a chance to look at these with respect to our county policies?
Yes, I've reviewed these, I want to say 3 months ago. The sheriff has been working on putting them in writing what their practice has been and making some updates to comply with current, FMLA laws and things like that. So we have been working with them to put those together.
Do you have any concerns with us passing this today?
I do not.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of passing the sheriff's policies today? Please.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstain? Anything? Okay, that carries. Thank you. And on to the next item, which is Mr. Hajos is here. Request to amend the table of organization to add the solid waste recycling coordinator. Could I have a motion for that item, please? Number 9 in your packet. Supervisor.
I'll make.
And second by Supervisor Driscoll. Any discussion? This one did have some significant discussion in Public Works. I'm not seeing any here. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. Thank you, Superintendent Hajos, for being here. In case there were any questions. All right. You're up, Treasurer Swan. Okay, that sounds great to me. He's asking that we defer this to next month, and I appreciate that on our agenda being moved over. Amanda, can you please make sure that, thank you. And positions authorized for filling, those are there just for your information. If there are any questions, we can answer those, I'm sure. And privilege of the floor, Don, you could check for us, Mr. Lehman, about public comment.
Good afternoon. We have no public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything further to come before the board? I'm sorry, the committee. All right. I don't think there is. Am I forgetting anything? Motion to adjourn personnel. Supervisor McGowan. Second by Supervisor Conover. Thank you for your contributions. Thanks everyone for sticking with us through this long day. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye. It's not over yet.